radio singing, bum, 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 bum. Anyway, the Star Wars trilogy is back. The movies are being re-released. Better than ever, Joel Siegel says, who had a chance to talk to George Lucas. Joel?
Good morning, Charlie. Most of us are singing a little better than you sang that. When I asked George Lucas why he's bringing the Star Wars trilogy back, he answered, these films really should be seen in a theater, and he is right. Star Wars reopens today, restored, rescored, one of the great films of all time, even better than before. Some scenes have been added. We previewed one yesterday, but today, something no one has seen, the new scenes in Volume 2 of the Star Wars trilogy. The Empire Strikes Back. Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and Princess Leia on their way to Cloud City. Diagonal right, the Millennium Falcon lands. That's the way it was. A scene that haunted George Lucas for nearly 20 years.
I've added a few shots to Cloud City here. Now you get to see the same thing, and you'll see there's more shots in there. It gives it a lot more.
There we are. Yeah.
Yeah, just a lot more breadth. like here. You get to see more of the city. You know, it's bigger.
And this that's all
these, yeah,
nothing three-dimensional.
Completely computer generated, and they're two shots that give this landing platform a little bit more breadth, and you get a little more sense of the city and a little more feel of the environment, which we just, I was just limited in what I was able to accomplish before. We couldn't do a shot like that before. It's only until we have the digital technology that I can fly through an environment.
Now, you're not an inventor. You don't.
No, mostly what I do is say, this is what I want to have happen. I want to see this shot, and I want to do it this way. And then I have various scientists and other designers and whatnot try to figure out how to actually accomplish that.
That's why Lucas hires these guys, computer artists, designers, and programmers at Industrial Light and Magic, emphasis on magic. This is Han Solo's Millennium Falcon. They make it fly through outer space, though it never exists in real space. It's a computer image. So are the buildings in Cloud City. Ron Woodall is painting in age lines on a Cloud City skyscraper. And if Lando Calrissian wants to celebrate St. Patrick's Day in style, they can do that too. Each picture is made up of more than 1 million beams of light called pixels. Each one has to be programmed, but each one can move.
So you can move a camera around it like a real cinematographer and place lights in three-dimensional space to be able to deal with it.
But the camera is in the computer.
Correct.
And the lights are in the computer.
Correct. Everyone's in the computer but us.
Here we had Cloud City. It was supposed to be a big city, and all we had was a little tiny set with about 20 extras, and you could never see out. You could never, and it's in the city in the clouds. I mean, you think they'd have windows and be able to see what was going on, and we, it made it very claustrophobic. You'll see on this one, we established Cloud City, and
that's really beautiful.
Yeah,
this is
and then we cut to Princess Leia in her little chambers here. But it's basically two shots. They're all flat, and you can't move through them. So here's the same thing with add a little different kinds of things. There's a sort of a mine there, since it's a mining visual. And here we're able to actually fly through the environment and give you a better feel for it, and then fly around and reveal her.
What is the difference between this and animation?
This is animation, basically. There is no difference.
Do you get excited when you see this?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's because I had this idea of what I wanted Cloud City to be, and I could never achieve it, just because I didn't have the resources and didn't have the way to do it. And that's the restrictions you have in movies. Up until a couple of years ago, that just was not possible to create. But now we can.
Something else Lucas can do, use this technology to create the next Star Wars films. A series of prequels Lucas told me he'll begin shooting later this year. The focus, Darth Vader, and Lucas will direct. His first film as a director since the original Star Wars 20 years ago.
I find that life sends you on many paths, and you can't really anticipate where you're going. You just have to be free to go. And I always expected I would go back to directing within a couple of years, as soon as I finished Star Wars. But that wasn't to be. I had a company to build, and I did a TV show that I enjoyed a great deal. And there was a lot of things I just wanted to do for the fun of it. And I've been raising a family, which has been sort of the most important priority in my life. And now I'm back to say I've got most everything under control in terms of the other parts of my life. And I can't really turn this Star Wars over to somebody because it's too complicated in the way we're doing it. I'm sort of inventing a new way of making movies. And I sort of have to invent it as I go and make mistakes and say, oh, wait a minute. And, You know, so once I've done it, then I can turn it over to somebody else and say, okay, this is how I did it, now you can go do it. But I can't tell somebody how to do it unless I've actually gone through the process and figured it out.
The original Star Wars opens today. The Empire Strikes Back in 3 weeks. The first prequel due in 1999. I can't wait.
Fascinating stuff to watch how he does it. We'll be back. Thanks, Joel.
Where is the teacher?
A beautician.
I thought you taught science.
Teacher, I didn't even pass it.
A bee.
You must be living in another galaxy, perhaps one far, far away if you're not aware yet that the Star Wars trilogy is being re-released in a new technologically improved special edition. It opened today, and by 9 this morning, moviegoers here in New York were already lined up around the block. So just what's so special about this special edition? It all started a long time ago. Tonight's Dateline State of the Art. The story is classic.
The Force will be with you.
The music still familiar. The images unforgettable.
I think all along, the thing that has struck me is how it never has receded. I remember saying to George, what are you talking about, a re-release? Has it ever gone away?
Well, maybe not for the millions of fans who own the Star Wars trilogy on home video, but even they would agree the Star Wars universe was built for the big screen. In 1977, as the Force became a national phenomenon, the man in the center of the Star Wars universe, George Lucas, became a force of his own.
I think people are more wowed in the end by the story and the characters than they are by the technology.
But from his headquarters in the fortress-like Skywalker Ranch in Northern California, Lucas has spent the last 2 decades pushing the technical envelope.
As a storyteller, I'm working in a medium that's very technological. I mean, it's nothing but technology. You're sort of telling stories with technology.
Lucas's industrial light and magic has since taken the motion picture industry to light speed, giving the Indiana Jones movies their whip, the Star Trek movies their wrath, and Jurassic Park dinosaurs their bite. But in helping his fellow filmmakers stretch their imaginations, Lucas realized his own classic creation had lost some of its golden glow.
And so we replaced 375 shots just in Star Wars. So the film is actually much better now than it was when it was originally released.
Lucas says the special edition has all 3 Star Wars films looking and sounding the way he originally envisioned, but lacked the resources to achieve.
It's not that I was making technological updates on the film. What I was really doing is finishing the story.
Special Edition's version of the original Star Wars now helps the famed Mos Eisley spaceport live up to its billing.
You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
So this is a shot as it was originally in the film.
Artist Alex Seiden's job was adding some contemporary computer critters to a live-action scene shot 20 years ago.
Arantas were an entirely new creature.
Once he created the new creatures separately in the computer, he combined them, along with the original background.
And this is what we end up with. A finished composite that has all of these elements integrated seamlessly. That was more of what George wanted, and it's cooler.
But some changes aren't nearly as subtle. But then again, neither is this guy.
I had a scene with Jabba the Hutt and Han Solo, and the reason it wasn't in the movie was because we ran out of time and money.
But those were luxuries ILM had 20 years later. They used the original shot that Lucas filmed with Harrison Ford and a Jabba stand-in back in 1976. But now, Mr. Hutt's cameo role is no longer in hyperspace, but cyberspace.
The character had to be built in wireframe.
The character that took 6 men to operate in Return of the Jedi now needs only 1.
He said he wanted a sort of a Jenny Craig version of it, sort of a slimmed-down version.
Whereas in Jedi, his blubber ship was grossly overweight and immobile, this slimmer slug slithers all over the set.
There'll be no one to stop us this time.
What's uncertain is whether the next, more jaded generation of young film fans will react to Star Wars the way their parents did. But judging from the reception at its recent premiere in Los Angeles, The Force, appears to be with them. The original Star Wars film cost about $12 million to produce in 1977. If you combine box office receipts and merchandising revenues to date, the Star Wars trilogy has generated an estimated $4 billion. George Lucas has already begun work on a new series of Star Wars prequels. The first one is due out in 1999.
Coming up next, has your boss stepped right out of Star Wars? That's Dateline's Question of the Week.